So, it's me again, your local whinge bag. So, I'm going to tell you some stuff you probably don't know. It's back to the farmers again. Fucking farmers. So, it all goes back to the 1700s. You know, this Cromwell invasion, and the Germans came, took over Ireland. So, you know the way they're taking carbon dioxide out of the air now, CO2, and they want to put it in batteries. You know the way they're doing that? Well, did you know? You go back to the late 1700s, right? And it's not the first time they've taken elements out of the air and sold them back to people. It's funny, really. The medical industry is the same thing. They go out into nature and they find a mushroom and they'll go isolate some compound in that mushroom, some chemical, and they'll go, we're going to patent that, that's ours. You have to buy that now. So, it's the same with oxygen. Well, in the late 1700s, did you know oxygen was isolated from the air and other substances in the 1770s associated particularly with Joseph Priestley and Karl Wilhelm Scheele, those fucking Germans. So later, industrial air separation technology made oxygen extraction on a huge scale possible for steel making, welding, medicine and chemical manufacturing. And that was the beginning of the fourth industrial revolution. So it was. Or the first industrial revolution. Sorry, we're in the fourth one now. So we've been here before, only we weren't alive. They came here and started extracting oxygen to build to the beginning of their steel making, welding, to build the start of this industrial world that we're living in. So, and then you have nitrogen in the late 1700s, industrialized in the early 1900s. Nitrogen was identified by Daniel Rutherford in the 1772. The major turning point came when the Haber-Bosch process in the early 20th century, strictly speaking. Haber-Bosch doesn't simply remove nitrogen. It takes atmospheric N2 and reacts it with hydrogen to manufacture ammonia, primarily for fertilizers and chemical production. So that's what they're doing with farmers. And they're selling that back to them and telling them to spray it on their land and you'll have better yields. And it does. It grows better yields for now. But give it a few years' time and it just goes, it destroys the land. Everything is arid. The soil is dry. The mycelium network is destroyed. You know, it's just sucked of all its minerals. So, argon and other noble gases in the late 1800s, early 1900s, one scientist developed liquefaction and fractional distillation of air. They could separate argon, neon, krypton, and xenon for industrial uses. And we see neon. You know what? Neon's in all those lights. Kryptonite. Carbon dioxide, historically separated for industry, but the 21st century direct air capture is different. CO2 has long been separated from gas streams, but today's direct air capture projects are attempting to remove CO2 directly from ordinary ambient air and store it or use it. You know? Who said they could do that? People just come in and do what they want and don't ask anybody else, is that okay with you? We all live in this world together, you know? And we all need these elements here to survive. So you go pre-1700s, people were taller, they were bigger built because they had better nutrition. You know, a lot came with the Industrial Revolution. It destroyed a lot. It built up this world, but it's destroyed humanity, in my opinion. You know, chemical age. It's all that they've brought here. That's what the Industrial Revolution is. It's a chemical age. We have to get out of this chemical age. Because it's not climate change, it's chemical change. That's why the world is destroyed. And it's the one thing they don't bring up. They'll tell you all day about the methane from cow shit and farts, like, because that's carbon, and that's the new world that they're building. That's their next industrial world is carbon. So it's now become a commodity. So of course they're going to know everything about it. But they don't want you to know about all these chemicals. They don't spend money in researching all this because they're the ones doing it for a start. You know, and they make a lot of money destroying everything. Big agra, big pharma, big tech, big everything. All these big industries, you got to stop supporting them. Turn back sovereign to, smaller industries. That's what happened here. They came in, took our sovereignty, brought us into a corporate world, and that's where we're stuck right now. In maritime law, land, air, and sea, or law, land, air, water, sorry. And that's what they think they can own. It's like, we own this, we're taking this now, it's ours. With no consent from nobody. So anyway, it's my whinge for today.